Your head is in the right space. The exchange rates are in your favor. You need to go. Today, we're going to touch on what you need to do to get set up. Maybe it's not about finding the ideal location first. Let's get into that. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's assume that you've done enough online research and you've decided you're either going to go, in my opinion, to Cebu or to Anglaise. Let's get tighter into that. Currency rates are well in everybody's favor right now to go to the Philippines. Putting all the economic stuff aside, now is the time. If you were able to take $9,995, if you were able to take that on the plane with you, when you get there, over a series of a couple of days, you can convert, let's say 50% of that into pesos quite quickly. Why? Because you haven't got a bank account yet where you can do the most effective thing, which is send your money directly to a bank account. And guys, sometimes these things are changing up a little bit right now because of COVID. Some of the government stuff is not as fluid, etc. But here's how it was. You need that ACR card in order to get a bank account. If you're a US citizen, you have to register that bank account with your IRS. Okay. Now, I believe the Philippine bank does that for you. They just purely submit the paperwork to the IRS. See a little bit of Cebu and see a little bit of Anglaise, and in that, make a quick decision. What are you going to do? One or the other. Anglaise, a little bit more arid, a little bit drier, a lot more expats, but the expat dynamic is changing dramatically here. Remember that it is now highly Korean there, because Korea to the Philippines is like Canada is to Mexico, or northern US is to Mexico. Maybe England is to the south of France or Italy. Red planet, 36 to 45,000 pesos. Now, I am not going to be talking currencies today. I'm only going to talk pesos, so jot these numbers down as we go, and then you can translate that using your XE app or whatever app and translate it into what that's going to get you in your currency. What would I budget? I would budget 1,000 pesos a day. This is not a bar hopping tourist level budget. $25 Canadian, roughly $20 US a day has to cover your food and your transport while you are there. Okay. What else am I going to include? Well, I would include a 10,000 peso per month budget for the travel. Okay. Whether that's over to Bohol, whether that's to Manila, or in Cebu, go get your ACR card. Okay. So you're going to need a budget for that type of thing. Condo, bathroom, studio, period. And the kitchen. Again, check out our end videos here. I will include 2 videos that you will be able to see through John and Flora's unit and our unit. You want to have something fairly steady. It may not be long term, but it's fairly steady, because you got to put down the first month, the last month, and a damage deposit, and that damage deposit sometimes is equal to your rent. Okay, so if you're laying out, say, 10,000 pesos, now you're laying out 30,000 pesos. And in Anglaise, that's part of the business. You leave early, they're keeping all of it. And they want 1-year contracts, right? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of furnishing that place. I've got 2 websites for you. I'll post them here. puregold.com/ph, and have a look at furniture in there. And I'm going to give suggestions on furniture as we go through here. acehardware.ph. So Ace Hardware, you'll be lucky for some of these smaller things to get in there and have still good value, okay? The other is Lazada and Shopee. And if you set that up before you go, certain small things you might find on there that then you could just have shipped to the hotel and then store it and then take it to your condo once you lock in on one. First up, you got to be able to sleep. Mattress. We have gone through all of this, guys. So take a little bit of this from the standpoint that we sublet apartments that are furnished. Okay. And what we have found over time with Westerners that we've rented these things to, 54-inch mattress, not a queen size, is more than adequate. The bed frame alone will hold up better on a 54-inch mattress. Second is, I do not recommend a bed frame. I recommend a box spring with those little feet that will screw into the bottom of the box frame. Okay, so that's what I'm going to recommend, but I will give you a rough idea of a bed frame. So bed frames, let's start there because I think they're junk. First, they're particle board, so you run the risk of it molding and that type of thing. If it's whole wood, you're going to pay the price. You know, say a bamboo bed, you're going to pay the price. And heavy. A bed frame, or sorry, a box spring with the built-in feet by Salem. Salem mattresses are really, in my opinion, good for the budget mattress. I do not recommend, and we have stopped 100% with any foam beds. And the reason being is that it breaks down too fast, and the fabric sometimes that they have on top starts to fold and everything and eventually rip. So I don't recommend that at all. The Salem mattress is that cross stitching and everything, so it holds that mattress together. Make sense? It's more of your traditional style mattress. And that will set you back about 8,500 pesos on a 54-inch. 6-inch, don't go cheap and go the 4-inch. You're going to pay the price. Get the 6-inch. If you want to go up to the 8-inch, etc., that's going to cost you more money. The box frame with the feet screwed into the bottom, about 7,500 pesos. Now, in some of the furniture stores, you can get lucky for the same price, roughly, of 15,000 pesos. You can get a mattress box spring with the screw-in feet on the bottom, but often they're tied together, so it's not as portable as you might think, right? So you're going to have to pay a moving truck to move that for you. Now, in the case of Ace Hardware and the case of Pure Gold and Prince Hardware, they do have trucks that will deliver, because if you're going to buy in bulk from these guys, just get it delivered. It's worth it. Next up, air conditioning. But do you need it or don't you need it? Air conditioners, half horsepower for a 20 square meter. Remember, I'm suggesting small for a reason. This might not be the location for you. And so over the next year or two, you might bang around into a number of locations. So we're trying to keep this as compact and as portable as possible, right? So that's kind of the goal here. So an air conditioner is going to range you from about 8,500 to 12,000. We have the 8,500 unit. We also bought the little plug that goes on the wall at the outlet, so you can just turn it on and off from there. Buttons and everything often are too high. You're standing on a chair to turn the thing off, but on the switch, Bob's your uncle. Everest is what we bought. That 12,000 peso air conditioning probably only just has a remote control with it, because it's still a half horsepower. Fans, they're going to range you. But in places like Pure Gold, maybe Ace Hardware, they will have them all on a strip bar and test them all. First, you want to find out that it has decent airflow on really low speed. Don't think that high speed is going to work for you. Many people get dried out eyes because of having the fan running for 24 hours a day. I also suggest a desk fan so that you can put it on the floor so that it's low. Move the cold air around. Don't drag the heat off the roof. You have to start climatizing anyway. So let's get into only running that air conditioner. The sun has gone down. Capitalize on that period of cooling, because remember, your body is used to 30 degrees from the day, let's say, and it's going to drop to 25 overnight, and you've got 5 hours of cooling before you're going to go to bed. And that's going to cost you plus your cooking and stuff. That's going to cost you about 2,000 pesos a month. Okay, so depending on where your rent is, again, try to stay under that. Oh God, not even 10,000 pesos. You're looking at that 5,000 peso to 8,000 peso unit. And for 8,000 pesos, it better be a quiet building for you. Okay? Cooktops. Buy two. Don't buy one with two burners. Again, you got to be careful about this. This isn't an oven and stuff. These are desk units, right? So better off to buy two if you're kind of that cook that needs two. All right? They're going to range you about 1,500 pesos up. Ideal if you can order it online from Lazada or Shopee. That would be great. But you can find Touch Mama products, fairly inexpensive. I don't recommend those coil type burners, although they are very easy to fix. They have glass top there. They're not induction. But if they fail, so easy to repair, right? It's usually just a solder joint or they've got the sleeve gone on and it's burnt out, so you just need to have one of the local shop guys weld it or solder it up and it's back up and running. But if you've got two, you can keep going if one fails. Next up, you need a rolling laundry rack. Now, these are just a bar and you can hang your clothes on it. And if you look at our videos, we've got strings outside, so we hang our clothes there and then they dry. And this could be your rack to hold your clothes. Remember, we're talking an easy budget right now to get you started, okay? And if you don't have that outside location, at least you have some place to hang your clothes up in the washroom where the shower is and let them dry there, okay? Next up is a water heater. They do not have hot water tanks there. They do not have hot water sources there. Even in Toon Hotel, when you go to turn the hot water on, it's all going to be dependent on that tank on the roof. If it's a long week of cloud, it won't be as hot as you think. So for shaving, and then on top of that, all your coffees and teas that you might be drinking. So that will cost you about 800 pesos to 1,000 at the most. Buy one, take one offers. So we always buy our soap that way, our hand soap. Because you got the buy one, take one. Trust me, buy one, take one. It easily lasts you, for us, a year. First, Lynn cuts them in half water, half soap. She cuts them in half, and they're just as effective. So that was the bare bone budget to get you started and get you living in your unit. You might want to get it right away because you don't want to sit on your bed. A folding lawn chair. One of those ones that reclines back, not quite fully lays down flat, but kicks up so that it supports your legs. Again, they fold up, boom, gone. Okay, so over a table and chair, if you're a table and chair kind of guy that wants breakfast at the table and chair, I still don't recommend you buy that at this time. The folding chair, if you have to dial that in immediately, then that's what I suggest. They're about the same price as in Western countries. Okay, they're going to set you back anywhere from about 2,000 to 3,000 pesos. In Canada, we can buy that for about 2,000 pesos. But you're now hunkered down, you feel a little bit comfortable for a while, but you need that table and chairs. Go to Ace Hardware. They have these white or gray tables. They're always on sale. So I'm going to give you a range here of 1,500 to 3,000 pesos, depending on the size you want. And again, if you check our end cards, you're going to see that we have one outside where John and I sit around. Next up are these plastic cheap chairs that we've all seen in community centers where there's a whole stack of them in the corner with one broken leg. Okay. They're great to have around. Two of them will cost you 1,000 pesos. Just leave them in the corner if you have people visit. So I suggest the stools because it can also act as a footrest, but it's also an end table for the side of the bed, etc. So look at those kind of things that are easy, portable, and multi-use. Okay, so again, those little plastic stools cost you about 500 pesos a piece, sometimes as low as 300. But again, kind of sit on it and see how much the feet splay. Nothing worse than gravity pulling you to the ground and your head banging it. Now, you're really settled in, but you need a place to formalize your clothes, okay? Here's where you want to look at these plastic kitty cabinets. They're light, they fit on top of the trikes and the Jeeps really easily. That's going to set you back about 3,200 to 4,000 pesos. Brooms, that type of thing, look for replaceable washable pads, okay? The disposable ones are really expensive in my opinion. You can get the microfiber ones. Remember, all the floors are tiled, so you can dust the floor, as it were. But if it's wash day, spritz the floor, wash the floor, boom, you're done. The tiles are really smooth and the grout layers are really tight. In Western countries, we tend to have glass for our cups and plates and stuff like that. Break easy. Remember, tile floors. So, and I've also recommended that bring your pots and pans in your bag, because you've got a bag that's, you can carry up to 50 pounds in it. Go for 45 and be sure. But I would bring that stuff. You can't sell it in your local country for any profit, and you're going to get less quality. I would bring the pot, the frying pan, bring some of that stuff, the cauldron that goes in it, okay? If you have to, you stuff your underwear in the pot. That's what I suggest. But for your cups and stuff like that, they may easily break. They have dishes by the kilo. So you buy 2 plates, 2 cups, 2 saucers, whatever. And a lot of this is more of a Corelle, it's not plastic. Watch out, sometimes they slide some plastic in there. You might just have to wait a week or two and they'll have the sale on again. A little bit of a long video today, but that budget came in around 35,000 pesos, or I would budget 40. That will get you started and get you dialed in. And then if you have to ditch and run, then you can ditch and run. Fold everything up and just pack the old hillbilly wagon and get out of there, right? I will do more videos like this with different kinds of scenarios, but honestly, the currency rates couldn't be better. Even the euro, as tight as it is to its threshold, I'm going. Book the ticket and go. I know the tickets are expensive. Go. If that's your goal, to live a little bit better life than you can live in your native country on a really tight pension, go. But your mind, your head, it's got to be in the right place. Got to be in the right place. Okay? There we go, guys. Later, Gators, and have a great one.